Hi. It's day 57 on my Masterfast and day 2 on my dry fast, my first ever 5-day dry fast for the change of season, which is part of the system. And I've been wanting to make this video for a while, both for people in the Masterfast group, especially people that are thinking about starting but haven't yet, and would like to know a little bit more about the impact of doing the fast, not just on the body but on the whole energy level, energy body I mean, and on a sort of spiritual level, and also for those people hi on my Facebook page, those that are my good friends to people that I might not know so well. But I just wanted to speak about where I've been really for the last few months, and where I am now. If any of you are interested in the Masterfast system after having watched this, then please go to the group Masterfast system, and I would recommend just spending some time really watching, looking at the testimonials, reading about how the system works, because there's loads of elements to it and every single element is absolutely necessary to make this the most beneficial and safest fast. So, I'm not going to go too much into what the fast itself is, and more keep this really to my experiences. Before I did the fast, I was in a really low place. I had had some of the old childhood learned behaviours and beliefs about the world and beliefs about myself, and which are a lot of very limiting beliefs, really raised their head in a very intense way. And that was alongside almost 2 years of really intense daily physical pain, that at times I found extremely frightening, very debilitating physically and emotionally, and exhausting really. So before I started the fast, I was really at a very, very deep low. I don't want to go into too much about where those beliefs come from. I don't think there's much use for me anymore in reiterating the past. But I think it would be really important to share exactly how big an impact they had on my daily life and on achieving and allowing myself to be open to the core desires that I have for how to live my life. So, just to give a few examples of areas that have impacted my life continually since a child. Through my mother's state of being when I was a child, which included for her going into kind of catatonic states. So she would sit on her bed for days on end, and not be responsive to her children or her husband or anyone that were trying to communicate with her. She was diagnosed schizophrenic and manic depressive when I was younger, and that's been changed to bipolar now. I don't hold any value whatsoever in these kind of labels, I really don't, but I do find it useful to look at the state that she was in and the impact that that had on me as I was growing. So things like these catatonic states affected me in a number of ways as a child. And one of the results of that was that as a teenager I would go into quite similar states, and that would especially happen when I was extremely upset about something and I felt that I couldn't communicate it. So instead of being able to have a conversation that was very painful, for example with my dad, I would also go into very similar states where for hours on end I wouldn't speak at all to anyone around me, and I felt very, very trapped in my body. And that feeling of trappedness has continued really throughout my life, and very much an inability to express how I feel. And I think that has kept me in a very childlike or very immature emotional place for a long time. And though I've spent sort of nearly 20 years doing various sorts of therapies and spiritual practices and workshops and emotional release and tried lots and lots of different things, there's still been some very, very core behaviours, like a deep distrust of the safety of expressing my feelings, an almost sort of physical trapped shutdown that happens when I'm extremely upset. So that's just one thing that I just wanted to kind of give as an example of some of the things that that were very alive in my life when I started the fast. Another aspect I want to talk about is on a spiritual level. And again, I don't find this kind of separation very, very helpful. There is no separation. I really get that now. There is absolutely no separation whatsoever between the emotions we have, our body's wellness or imbalance, as Gino at Masterfast would term it, and our spiritual experience. But until I started the fast, for me they were very, very separate. Well, that's how they appeared to me, that's how I experienced them, and with all the kind of logical understanding and I have of that, how intricately inseparable they are, to me they still felt very, very much at war in very different parts of myself. When I was little, I had this place that I would go to when I was really upset, and it was an extraordinarily beautiful, peaceful, a homeland, an energy place that I would go to, and I lost that really as I went into teenage years and upwards, that direct connection. But what I did always have was a strong sense of something more than the material world, than what I could touch and see on a day-to-day basis. And that took me on a 20-year journey into various religions, and then into different types of meditation practice, Vipassana retreats, mindfulness meditation, and then into shamanic practices and vision quests and looking to reclaim myself, and then into Tantra community very much in the last 3 years, although I haven't been in it for a while now, but that was a very, very intense period of doing workshops with different schools and having a community of friends that were all in the Tantra and energy world, and ended up running sessions, tantric sessions with people and holding energy with people. So these parts of me have been very alive, but they felt very, very at war. On the one hand, I had this desire to meditate, to be solitary, to go inwards, to connect more with the sense of home and soul, spirit, whatever the term felt best at the time. And then my human experiences as I felt them to be from a childhood age, which went from, and I don't remember, but being a very, very happy and passionate and alive and stubborn, very young child, to being very traumatised and wounded by my experiences from the ages of 5, 6 upwards, by my experiences with my mother and going to boarding school at a very young age and being desperately unhappy, and then having teenage years of body hatred and self-hatred and annihilation and drinking and drugs, and then terrible panic attacks, and then going into the psychiatric world where I was placed on very, very heavy antidepressants, and then having intense illnesses which caused a lot of pain. And so I only go into that not as a oh, poor me at all, and that's not to say that I haven't been in extreme victim places in my life. Really, that's been a lot of where I've been, absolutely, and I take full ownership of that. But just to share the tension that I was in on a daily level, the pull I had on a daily level between how do I get more into or get closer to the parts of me that's spiritual? How do I work through and put to rest, escape almost, all the really debilitating behaviours and habits and beliefs that on a daily basis were causing me extreme emotional pain. When I found the Masterfast, I felt so lost and so hopeless. The amount of money that I'd spent and energy on trying to heal my body in a really natural way, and none of them worked. Amount of therapies and different heart and body-based therapies and workshops that I have put my energy and my money into. I felt really lost, and I felt really abandoned by the universe. It felt like there was some kind of cosmic joke. That I never really got, and I kept trying, and I say very consciously the word trying because I think trying has been a huge part of my journey. I kept trying to change, and I kept trying to step into my mature masculine and step into my mature feminine, and to explore and go for every possible avenue. Really to give myself the things that I have always wanted I would say like the core reasons for being here, freedom and purpose and being able to serve and do really good in the world. Before I started the Masterfast, I was so lost that at times I would literally pray out loud to die at night. And again, that feeling of not wanting to be here has been very prevalent. I've never tried to kill myself, but from a young age, life has felt so raw and hard and painful that I didn't want to be here. And then I found the Masterfast, and from the very first moment I found the group, I knew on some level that I didn't understand, and that was fine, that this was exactly the thing that I'd been looking for. I knew that this would allow me to step into myself in a new way on every level, spiritually, emotionally and physically, and that... Oh, one moment, my battery is running low. I knew that on every level this would be no more spending money on supplements and alternative therapies, but trusting in divine ability for our bodies and the universe to heal ourselves if we put that as our main intention and we clear away everything blocking it. So I've been doing the Masterfast now, as I said, for 57 days. It's been completely challenging every single day. I won't go into the extraordinary stuff that's been coming out of me because that's already on the page a lot by everyone else. Do go and have a look if you're not on it. I think it will blow your mind, the aliens that we have living inside us. That's how I think of them. But again, why I'm here and why I'm sitting in front of you making this video is to talk about the change on a emotional, energetic, bodily level and a spiritual level. Again, not that they can be separated, but when I look at what I've been through these last 57 days, so much of what I knew logically, what I'd studied, what I'd talked to people about, what I had watched videos, what I'd been to workshops on, has actually started to happen on in a natural way, almost without effort. I mean, there's the effort of following the system, and there's the effort of staying strong on the days that I think I can't do this anymore, on the days that I'm absolutely exhausted on a bodily level. There's a huge strength to do the Masterfast, yes, but there is no trying on an energy body level, on the response to doing this fast. These things are just happening. I'm trying to think of really the best things to talk about. So much of my experience is very personal to me and really won't mean that much to you, and in it shouldn't, because as much as there is a oneness, I think we are all we have very different paths from each other, and that's great and beautiful. And but what I do want to share, there's one thing in particular that I want to share. So my lack of purpose has been extremely painful to me, and I know that there are many of us out there that do feel that sense of what are we, what is our place in the world while we are here in a physical body. How can we give the most with our life? How can we find the thing that we are naturally attuned to, that we have the gifts for, that we love passionately, that help bring in the things that we desire in our lives, whether for some people that's money, or for others that's community, or great relationships, or a place to feel at home. Whatever that thing is, I'm really aware that this isn't just me going through it. So I was dry fasting about 10 days ago, and I had this vision of the exact thing that I want to bring into the world. I've never had that in my life. I mean, I've had lots of good ideas, and I've explored different kind of entrepreneurial projects with people, and they've been great, and but this vision was just amazing and clear, and it's the thing that I'm going to birth in the world. And I spent this day on my dry fast just writing about how everything is going to work, how it's going to look, what I need, what people I need, how this is going to, the thing that I'm going to birth, how that's going to work on every single level. And there was no doubt, there was no confusion, there was no, I mean, okay, there were a few things that I went, oh, I don't know if this one thing would work a little bit better than that, let's sit with that for a while, but yeah, just beautiful. Really beautiful to have that experience, and so exciting. And the thing that makes it really beautiful is that so much of the things that I was really fighting against recently, or before I came onto the fast, where I live and how much money I currently have, and my beliefs around money and etc., are exactly the perfect place for me to do this, for me to birth this thing. And that's just, there's no really words for that. I have to be here now to make the thing happen. So I'm really excited, and I will be posting on my personal Facebook page a post all about exactly what I'm going to be doing. So if you're interested, come and watch that. If you're in the Masterfast group and you're interested and we're not friends, please just send me a quick personal message just to say a bit about who you are, and if that feels great, then we can become Facebook friends and you can watch what I'm going to be doing. That's great. So lastly, and I really get that you've been sitting watching this, so I really appreciate your time. I want to talk directly to anyone that's hesitating about starting the Masterfast. I was consumed by fear before I started. It hit every single button of all my fears doing this fast. I was afraid financially of whether I could afford it. I was afraid of not eating. I was afraid of dying. I was afraid of the reactions of people around me. How would I deal with it? I was afraid of would I be able to work. I was afraid of what would come up, what would I see about myself. Huge amounts of fear. I even planned to just do the first week on hybrid because I couldn't imagine actually just not eating. Even though I'd done a 3-week juice fast in the past, this for some reason just triggered me completely. If you are in any way, have any pull towards doing the fast, don't let your fear stop you. If you have always wanted to give yourself the thing that will enable you to heal on a body, emotional and spiritual level, not that we need to heal on a spiritual level, but don't hesitate to start the fast. I have tried almost everything on every level, and the Masterfast is unlike anything. So, thank you, and I really do look forward to watching anyone's journeys, and I am really happy to answer any questions. I would really appreciate that you do take the time just to go to the group, read everything you can, listen, learn, take the time, spend weeks, note down your questions, see if they're answered. But genuinely, if you really can't find anything, I'm not an admin, I haven't done the full 108 days, and I would suggest really clearly that someone else responds, but just if you need some support, I would be really happy to do that. Thank you, and hope you have a really beautiful day.